Tonight, due diligence.
It was a promotion that I put in a lot of time, effort, and resources to earn.
The concerns at the London Police Board over a familiar face getting a new gig.
Our job is not to worry about optics.
Plus, rural healthcare takes a hit.
Not enough physicians to run those clinics, and that's why we're in the situation that we are.
The expected impact in Exeter as a weekend clinic shuts down permanently. And the final tally. We wrap up another Business Cares food drive as the holidays arrive.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the London Police Services Board defending the hiring of a new legal counsel to the police chief. The newly created position was given to former police board chair Ali Chahbar. But as Brian Bicknell reports, it was Chahbar's connection to a report citing financial mismanagement at the Thames Valley School Board raising questions about the hiring.
But I think it's very important to know that there was no inside baseball here. Mr. Chahbar was not privy to any information.
Police Services Board Chair Ryan Goss defended the board's hiring of his predecessor, former board chair Ali Chahbar, to the newly created position of General Counsel to Police Chief Tai Trong.
Our job is not to worry about optics. Our job is to worry about governance, and our job is to do what's best for the service of which we are responsible for. And the best thing to do is to put the most qualified people in the positions.
Chahbar's hiring is being met with scrutiny after his former role as general legal counsel at the Thames Valley District School Board was cited in an investigation by auditors at PricewaterhouseCoopers. The report found the general counsel was given back-to-back promotions, first in 2021, then 2023. The latter, which resulted in a salary increase of $72,000 over 3 years. The audit said in that promotion, proper process was not followed, as then Director of Education Mark Fisher did not receive trustee approval. Chahbar says he had no knowledge of anything untoward.
It was a promotion that I put in a lot of time, effort, and resources to earn. And it was really unbeknownst to me that there may have been seemingly some procedural step that may not have been completed by someone at the organization.
Chahbar went on leave from the school board in March of this year, citing health reasons. The 10-month audit report was completed in April, and it was shortly after that he stepped down as police board chair. The posting for legal counsel to the police chief went up in July with a deadline of August 1st. Chahbar resigned from the school board in October. Police Chief Tai Trong, who was first appointed in 2023 under Chahbar's chairmanship, says he's not privy to what happened at the school board, but he related it to how promotions work at the police service.
If we've skipped a step where perhaps an inspector or superintendent did not sign off, I don't hold that sergeant or staff sergeant or that person who earned that promotion, who went through all those steps, to account.
The general counsel to the chief position replaces the role of senior director of legal services, which has been restructured and no longer exists. The board also announced Roger Ramkissoon as the service's first ever CAO, and that it has extended the contracts of deputy chiefs Paul Bastine and Trina McSween to the end of 2032. Meanwhile, board executive director Stephanie Johansson becomes chief governance officer. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
A walk-in clinic in Exeter is closing permanently by the end of the year. Scott Miller has more on the reasons behind the closure and what it means for the community it's served.
Patients who used to rely on Exeter's weekend walk-in clinic will be heading elsewhere for care in just a couple of weeks.
The last day the clinic will be open will be December 28th. And then after that time, there won't be any more weekend clinics in South Huron.
True says they simply ran out of physicians willing and able to cover the weekend shift at the walk-in clinic, which was operated out of the South Huron Medical Center, directly across the street from the South Huron Hospital in Exeter.
Our physicians who work at the hospital also cover the clinic as well, and during the week and also on the weekends, and they were just getting too busy and bogged down. And so we wanted to make sure that we weren't overburdening them and causing burnout for our physicians.
Exeter's walk-in clinic was the last walk-in clinic left in Huron or Perth County, says True.
We were in a unique position to be able to offer walk-in clinics. And we were the only ones in all of Huron County and Perth County even to offer walk-in clinics. And so those are becoming harder and harder to come by. And again, it really is a matter of supply and demand. Not enough physicians to run those clinics, and that's why we're in the situation that we are.
True says another reason leading to the weekend walk-in closure is that it was funded entirely by the hospital. The province wasn't putting any money into the weekend walk-in clinic, so the hospital was having to use and pull resources from other elements of the hospital in order to pay for the weekend walk-in clinic.
This, for the moment, is a permanent reduction. Who knows what the future might hold? If we were able to recruit more physicians, perhaps there is an opportunity to open up the clinic as well on the weekends. Again, it comes down to the availability of physicians, right? And human resources has been an issue across the province, as everyone knows.
A list of options for patients seeking weekend care, including using Exeter's emergency room, which remains open 24/7, are available on our website. In Exeter, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Good evening, I'm Rita Ismail. A snow squall warning has been issued for London as the winds continue to gust out of the west, 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. And our temperature right now, -7, feeling like -14 with the wind chill. Blustery winds throughout the day today, all in behind the system that pushed out a big area of low pressure. You could really see those squalls picking up off of Lake Huron, and they will linger up until about 9 p.m. We have this system on its way out, and behind it, cold Arctic air settling in for the next 24 hours. And we are tracking the next low pressure system that will push through with a similar pattern setting up for Saturday. We'll break down the forecast coming up a little later in the show. But for now, back to you, Carlyle.
Police in the Niagara region say one of their officers was shot this morning. Police say nearby schools and a hospital were locked down while residents were told to stay indoors. According to police, a suspect had holed up in a building swarmed by officers exchanging gunfire. They say one officer was hit in the chest but is expected to survive. Police say the incident began as a reported dispute over a fence. London police say they've taken one man into custody after an early morning death. According to police, emergency responders were called to a home on Westminster Avenue. They say officers found a woman with a traumatic injury. She was taken to hospital where she was pronounced dead. Police say the woman and the man they took into custody know each other and no charges have been laid at this point. More legal delays and arguments at the trial of a former Strathroy babysitter charged in the death of a toddler she was caring for. The manslaughter trial against Megan Van Hoof adjourned back in October and was set to resume this week, but legal arguments have taken up the proceedings. Today, both sides were arguing over an abuse of process application brought forward by the defense, claiming Crown lawyers changed their theory, hampering the defense's efforts to obtain a witness list. The 15-month-old victim died back in 2015 after attending Van Hoof's home daycare in Strathroy. Van Hoof has pleaded not guilty. CTV News has learned the first micro-shelters will arrive next week at City Hall's new facility.
We've got some power out there now, and we expect the modular units to arrive as early as Monday.
Workers are preparing the property on Cheese Factory Road. It's a $7 million project creating 60 shelters operated by a private security and investigations firm until April. City officials say a selection process is underway determining who will live in the micro-shelter community when it opens next month.
We'll have a good sense of who's going. That matching process is happening in real time. There was meetings again this week with coordinated access working groups. We're really trying to identify the number of individuals that we have that would be interested in the number of individuals that we have that might be suitable.
Ontario's Integrity Commissioner has opened an investigation into the controversial Skills Development Fund. It's in response to complaints from both the opposition NDP and Liberal parties alleging money from that fund went to people connected to the minister responsible. John Woodward reports.
If I were the minister right now, I'd be a little a little concerned.
Ontario Liberal MPP Stephanie Smythe reacting to the news the legislature's ethics watchdog, the Integrity Commissioner, is investigating Labour Minister David Piccini and his administration of the province's controversial $2.5 billion jobs fund.
That deep dive is coming.
Smythe had complained last month on behalf of her party amid news of apparently connected people and companies getting millions from the Skills Development Fund in a web so tangled the party put it on a whiteboard. The official opposition NDP jumped on with their own complaint, saying tens of millions of dollars to PC-friendly lobbyists and companies needed examining.
We don't know how long this will take, but we do know that one way or other, the truth will come out. And Ontarians will finally get the answers that they deserve.
One of those companies, Keel Digital Solutions, already under investigation by the OPP for a contract with another ministry. The director of that company spotted with David Piccini before he became the Labour minister that oversaw the fund. The NDP complained Piccini attended a wedding of that company's lobbyist. Keel has said it's just being scapegoated and did nothing wrong. Just hours after news about the investigation broke, Piccini posted a photo of himself with a recipient of money from the program. Days before, he'd appeared in an event photographed with the Premier. Piccini's office saying they're cooperating with the investigation and highlighting the people who are being trained for jobs.
Everywhere I go, people are saying to me, this smells fishy, this smells bad, keep going, we don't like it.
The opposition settling down for a long haul. When the Integrity Commissioner started investigating a previous scandal over the Greenbelt, their report took around 8 months.
John Woodward, CTV News.
The provincial government has signed an agreement with New York State to further develop nuclear power. It's a sign of cross-border cooperation as renewed trade negotiations loom on the horizon. With the latest, here's Rachel Aiello.
We're going to stand firm and let people know who our friends are.
Signing a new cross-border nuclear energy agreement, the leaders of Ontario and New York reaffirmed their cooperation.
We're here today to celebrate and strengthen the deep relationship between New York and Ontario.
Though it's these kinds of cross-border ties that will soon be tested when the CUSMA review begins. In mid-January, Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc will meet with his D.C. counterparts to launch discussions. This week, the top U.S. trade representative told Congress the Trump administration has a wish list of trade irritants Canada needs to address. Jameson Greer wants expanded access to the supply-managed dairy market.
We're obviously very concerned because all of the things that the Trump administration is talking about currently would have a direct impact.
The USTR is also unhappy with Canada's online streaming and news laws that impose obligations on major American tech and media giants.
For us, we don't see that there is a legitimate cause for this to be on the table.
The Prime Minister says these issues are just a piece of the broader discussion that's about to get underway.
We will always pursue an agreement that is in the interest of Canadian workers, Canadian families.
Those involved in the last round of trilateral trade talks say it'll be key for Team Canada to stay united.
So the talks that are going to kick off in January is the beginning of what will likely be a long process. So my advice is brace for a lot of ups and downs.
Canada did make concessions during the NAFTA renegotiation. This time around, as Donald Trump tries to extract more, those in the supply-managed dairy and egg sectors I heard from today said they expect Mark Carney not to crack. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
The Business Cares food drive wraps up this morning, and organizers say despite plenty of economic uncertainty hanging over the region, our community stepped up, collecting nearly $700,000 worth of food and donations. With more on the final results, here's Jerry Dewan.
It was a campaign under a cloud, with U.S. tariff policies further stressing an economy already being throttled by inflation. But Business Cares food drive founder and chair Wayne Dunn says the community found a way.
The community is hurting a bit, but it is more than stepped up. We had people, new organizations and people give, and some people couldn't this year or some less, but it doesn't matter.
One after another, businesses and community organizations came forward with campaign contributions and heartfelt stories of challenges and triumphs. London Home Builders Association CEO Jared Zapeman says the market has slowed dramatically, but members still found a way to surpass last year's contribution.
It has been a challenging year for our industry. It's not been easy.
And so for our members to do what they did this year is just incredible.
Business Cares committee members spoke of others stepping up as well. As the campaign got underway, they found turkeys were in short supply. Pete thus wasn't sure if some families would be able to have a traditional holiday meal, but then he got a call from Sofina Foods.
All of the staff at Sofina Foods get a turkey for Christmas. And we have a number of our staff that want to donate those turkeys to the food bank. Sorry.
What was at first 10 turkeys ended up being over 20 as Sofina staff members continued to step up.
You never know how it is going to go in terms of obviously giving. You start the year, the tariffs, everybody's affected by it. It's not just the people coming to the food bank, it's donors as well, and we don't know what's going to happen.
Jane Roy says with the demand has continued to grow, the community has risen to the challenge, but she says other solutions need to be found in order to combat poverty.
What's actually going to solve it? That I don't have any answer to. Outside of other levels of government coming together, the community's coming together, it's more money, it's better jobs.
Food Bank Board Chair Lori Lashbrook says for now they can be grateful there's the Business Cares food drive.
Doing it in such a way that's fun and compassionate and obviously deeply rooted in the belief that nobody in our community should go hungry.
Since the pandemic, the food drive has stopped setting a campaign goal, and Wayne Dunn says that will likely remain the case.
I think by putting no pressure on anybody for all of this, it's the way to go.
This is the 26th year for the Business Cares food drive, and next year the food bank marks its 40th year in existence. Jerry DeWan, CTV News.
With many holiday fundraising campaigns concluding, frontline agencies are gearing up for the winter months ahead. One of those, My Sister's Place. And for more on those preparations, opening up overnight shelter spaces, we're joined live by Lauren Stallone for more on this. Lauren, over to you.
That's right, Carlyle. My Sister's Place is looking for that final fundraising push for the year. Now I'm joined by Jennifer Martin with My Sister's Place and Tanya Burke, who has used the facility in the past. Now, Jennifer, tell us a little bit more about what My Sister's Place has to offer.
Well, we've got a really great daytime program that's open 9:30 in the morning until 9:30 in the evening for basics like a hot shower, laundry, access to mental health and addiction supports in the moment. But what we're really focused on right now is our overnight resting space. This is the space we're in right now, where 10 women can come in overnight into safety, into warmth, with supports to get their next steps. We've so far raised $416,000. We have $130,000 more to go to ensure women have got safety 365 nights of the year.
Amazing. And you talk about this need. Where does that need come from in the community in London specifically?
Well, we've got a range of women coming in, women who are employed. They sleep here, get safe rest, and then they're off to work. We've got elderly women, we've got young women. It's not necessarily who you might think would be needing resting spaces, but this is sort of an emergency stopgap until a woman can get to her next steps and on her way home.
Amazing. Thank you, Jennifer. Now, Tanya, we've mentioned that you've used the facility in the past. Can you talk about why it is so important and why it's been so life-changing for you?
It's so very important because it got me out of the cold. It got me out of the vulnerability of being a woman homeless on the street. And I would get a good night's sleep knowing in the morning I was going to be okay. And then during the day, I was able to get the next steps, my ID. I was able to get a housing finder, a transitional case manager, and the right person pushed me along what I need to get done to be able to get home.
Mm-hmm. And we were talking off camera, you said this place feels like a second home to you. Can you talk about why My Sister's Place is so important, why you feel that way, and why it's the best place to go if you need these services?
I've been coming here 14 years, and these ladies here know me like I was one of their own. I consider everybody here my sisters. They've helped me through everything, every aspect of my life. It's so very important because they understand you, and they're just there for you. No matter what you need, they're there for you. And it's a very safe place to be. And it's a very warm, welcoming place. And I couldn't be anywhere else. This is where I come.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. And Jennifer, where can people go if they're looking to donate?
Well, they can certainly go online. We are a program of CMHA, Thames Valley Addiction and Mental Health Services. So our website, you can go to the donate button. You can give us a call if you wish. You can certainly drop a check in the mail or drop by My Sister's Place as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Well, I'll send it back to you, Carlyle, and if anyone can donate or is wanting to donate, you can check out their website.
For sure, Lauren. Thanks very much. When we come back, rising cases, rising concern, the latest on flu numbers with another surge reported this past week. Plus, terrorism charges. The Toronto police investigation arresting one man accused of conspiring to commit murder.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
It's time to build a toy mountain. Make this holiday season merry for so many kids. Bring new unwrapped toys to CF Masonville Place.
All in support of the Salvation Army. We will be collecting donations November 21st to December 24th.
With all donations helping families right here in our community. Toy Mountain, supported by Gomez Appliances, London Bass Center, and UBC Built Local 1946.
Let's make this the best toy mountain ever. Visit ctvlondon.ca for more ways to donate.
Flu cases are rising across the country, with the latest data showing a 7% jump in positive test results on a week-to-week basis. With more on the numbers and the message from healthcare experts, here's Scott Hurst.
Flu season is starting early and is shaping up to be a particularly bad one, according to health experts. And some emergency departments are already indicating they're feeling the impact. Flu cases are up nationally, with surveillance data putting the rate of positive tests above 20% compared to 13% just the week before. All three maritime provinces are reporting a rise in flu numbers. Hospitals in Ontario are reporting a spike in visits as well, up more than 80%, with a significant increase in flu patients. This has medical experts sounding the alarm about the number of people, particularly children, getting the flu vaccine.
There's a lot of people saying that the vaccine is not a good match for the strains that are circulating this year. That is not strictly speaking true. It is a good match for the H1N1 strain. It's not a particularly good match for the H3N2 strain. So it is giving you, some, and I would say good protection, but not perfect protection, but worth repeating the old adage that things don't have to be perfect in order to be useful.
Health providers are asking parents, to the best of their ability, to treat kids with mild flu symptoms at home and avoid large gatherings if possible, as influenza cases spike ahead of the busy holiday season. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Police in Toronto say they've arrested a man charging him with terrorism offenses, accused of targeting the Jewish community. Jeremy Sherrill has more on the investigation and the other suspects arrested.
The RCMP and Toronto Police announced these charges today, from kidnappings to hostage takings and terrorism charges linked to the Islamic State. Toronto resident Waleed Khan was taken into custody by the RCMP on November 26th. Khan is facing 7 terrorism-related offenses in connection with an RCMP investigation, including allegations that he conspired to commit murder for the benefit of, at the direction of, or in association with a terrorist group. He's also one of 3 people charged in connection with a Toronto police investigation dubbed Project Neapolitan, launched last spring after 2 violent incidents in the GTA. Khan, along with 18-year-old Osman Azizov and 19-year-old Fahad Sadat, are facing in that investigation a combined 79 charges, including kidnapping, attempted kidnapping with firearms, conspiracy to commit sexual assault, and hostage takings. Police say some of the offenses were informed in part by hate-motivated extremism and targeted women and members of the Jewish community.
It's an absolute matter of urgency for our governments at all levels to work with law enforcement to take the steps necessary today to prevent not just the crimes that were announced earlier this morning, but to get at the root cause of this heinous violence.
Meanwhile, earlier this week, the Canadian Security Intelligence Service said it sees no indication of a specific threat in Canada following a mass shooting at a Hanukkah celebration in Australia. But CSIS did warn of the realistic possibility of an extremist attack on the Jewish community here in Canada. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Ottawa.
Rita's on the desk with me now at the end of a week that's been kind of all over the place when it comes to the forecast. A very different story yesterday compared to today as things got cold and pretty much froze over.
Yeah, I'm exhausted, Carlyle. It's a lot, right? We got to, and it's happening again the next 7 days. So let's start off with today. 7 degrees are high. Don't be fooled by that. That was around 1 a.m. Since then, we've dropped to -7. That's where we're sitting right now. The wind chill feels about -14. Normal this time of year at the freezing mark is our high record 11 in 1957. And as we head into the night, we actually have a snow squall warning in effect for London and parts of Midwestern Ontario. Take a look at these temperatures. Anywhere between -4 to -8. Again, the real feel double that. Heading into the night, there's that big snow squall impacting parts of Godbridge into London, Strathroy. It is quite messy out there. This is all thanks to strong gusty winds over Lake Huron. And this big system, this low pressure system that pushed through yesterday along the warm front, we saw that mild temperatures and rainfall. And then the cold front swung through today, cold air in behind it, kicking up those lake effect snowmaking machines. We are tracking the next weather maker, another low pressure system. It will swing through in the next 24 hours and a similar pattern will occur. Here's how that plays out. So good news in terms of the snow squalls. We're expecting those to taper off around 9-10 p.m. tonight, although the next couple of hours will be tricky to navigate. Mostly cloudy tonight, and then you could see that cold front pushing through, especially throughout Midwestern Ontario. You will pick up more snow with this system, not packing a lot for us. It will move out quickly. In behind it, that's the big story. Again, wind gusts over Lake Huron out of the west. We could be dealing with some streamers over night Sunday into Sunday morning and throughout the day as well. There is a slight chance we'll see the sunshine on Sunday, but again, it will be accompanied with on and off flurries. This evening, the wind out of the west, 30 to 50 kilometers per hour, -7. Next couple of hours, those snow squalls in effect. Feeling like -14 overnight. So if you are heading out on the town tonight, bundle up. It is going to be cold, and cold will continue into tomorrow morning as well. We are expecting to warm up, relatively speaking, for Saturday at the freezing mark, and then light snow associated with that secondary low pressure system that will move through later in the day tomorrow. In behind it on Sunday, as we mentioned, cold temperatures, gusty winds, mix of sun and cloud to mostly cloudy conditions with the chance for some lake effect flurries, higher probability throughout Midwestern Ontario. Monday and Tuesday, tricky forecast. Evening flurries on Monday, cold start to your day, -14 degrees. And then from -14 on Monday morning, we go to 8 degrees Tuesday afternoon. This temperature swing will have you wondering what to wear. And of course, that will come with some rainfall. I really was hoping not to put rainfall icons on Wednesday. That's Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day, 9 degrees. So definitely mild. Great news in terms of travel. If you are visiting family out of town, we should be in the clear Christmas Day and Boxing Day because, of course, we're well above seasonal temperatures. Midwestern Ontario, the next couple of hours will be very tricky for you. Periods of snowfall, snow squalls, that warning is in effect for you as well. Flurries in store on Sunday, cold Sunday into Monday morning. Again, flurries, snow changing to rain on Tuesday, mix of sun and cloud on Wednesday. And then there's Santa Claus waving at you, likely wearing shorts on Thursday at a daytime high of 8 degrees. Very balmy, but of course we've had a lot of snow, Carlyle. So I think the rule is if there's 2 centimeters of snow on the ground on Christmas Day, it's a white Christmas. So I'm not really sure if that's going to stick. It's too early to tell.
We will keep an eye on that for sure. Rita, thanks very much. When we return, the millions of dollars in Canadian losses to crypto scams, more and more falling for AI-generated videos.
Join us this weekend for the iHeartRadio Pure Country Countdown. That's Saturday at 9 and Sunday at 4.
Mariah Carey just surpassed 2 country artists for this big accolade. We'll talk about it this weekend.
A W5 investigation has found Canadians are being aggressively targeted by fake AI-generated videos promoting cryptocurrency scams. As Pat Foran reports, by the time some investors realize it, they've lost their entire life savings.
How did you feel when they said you're going to have to sell your house to get your money back?
Heartbroken. I was broken into pieces.
A woman we'll call Denise of Markham, Ontario, asked us not to reveal her identity as she is devastated and embarrassed to have lost her life savings in a cryptocurrency scam. In July of 2023, she was on Facebook when she saw a story featuring billionaire Elon Musk saying she could get rich fast.
Millions of users were able to close all their debts in the first week on the platform.
It said that you just have to invest $250. And you get on his platform and you're going to make money daily.
Denise sent $250 to what she thought was Musk's platform. 2 days later, she received what she was told was $30 US in profit. Convinced it wasn't a scam, she was told if she invested more, she would make more.
And they keep calling me and tell me that people are making so much money and that if you put more, and I said, okay.
Denise decided to go all in and took out a second mortgage on her home.
I applied for almost $1 million on the equity in my home. I took it out and I started sending it to them, right? Like $350,000, $350,000.
After investing $1.2 million, she thought it had grown to over $3 million, but when she tried to take money out, she was told she needed to pay taxes and fees. She borrowed another $500,000 from family and friends and maxed out credit cards. In the end, she was scammed out of $1.7 million.
I don't have no retirement saving. Everything is gone.
There are fake AI-generated cryptocurrency videos featuring former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
We have developed an investment platform.
And current Prime Minister Mark Carney.
Make your initial deposit. You could invest in it for as little as $250.
Donald Hanrahan of Charlottetown PEI was online when he saw a story about investing in cryptocurrencies promoted by Dragon's Den. The show currently has a warning online saying it was targeted by a number of fake advertisements on Facebook. Hanrahan started investing with small amounts, but eventually put in everything he had.
I was getting at one point about 10,000 Canadian per day, okay? And it eventually, it added up to $600,000.
When Hanrahan tried to remove his funds, he couldn't and realized he'd been scammed out of the entire amount.
I was, scammed by professional people. That doesn't give you much consolation when you've lost all that money.
According to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre, Canadians lost $1.2 billion to investment scams over the past 3 years. That's only what's been reported, so it's expected it's much higher. Most involve cryptocurrencies and fake AI-generated videos.
It's really hard to know what's real now because this technology is so sophisticated now that it's really nearly impossible to know what is real and what is fake in some cases.
Is it going to get better? Is it going to get worse?
Oh, it's going to get worse.
Pat Foran, CTV News, Toronto.
Canada's main stock index was up on strength in the base metal and technology sectors. The TSX gained 315 points. In New York, the Dow added 183, the Nasdaq up 301. The Canadian dollar lost 0.04 of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold is up almost $23 an ounce, oil up 52 cents a barrel. Later on CTV News, a little bundle of holiday joy. Meet the most junior member of a Northern Ontario choir.
On the next episode of the Backroads podcast, we sit down with Patrick Armstrong, the Huron County-based co-founder of Huron Area Search and Rescue and the Dave Mounsey Memorial Fund.
Backroads with Scott Miller, available at iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back. Today is expected to be the busiest shopping day of the year. Research from Interact predicts nearly 25 million debit transactions today, the most for a single day in 2025. Most of those purchases are expected at fast food restaurants, grocery stores, and discount stores. The Interact Holiday Spending Snapshot also found higher costs mean Canadians are shopping with more caution this year. Meanwhile, new data from Stats Canada shows retail sales were down slightly across across the country in October. Sales were down in 4 of 9 sectors, led by decreases in food and beverage retailers, which saw a 2% decline. Core retail sales, which exclude gas stations and car dealers, were down 0.5%, the second consecutive monthly decline. However, home furnishings, electronics, and appliances rose about 1%. A new report on a proposed high-speed rail link between Quebec City and Toronto forecasts a dramatic rise in train riders if the project gets completed. The line would stretch roughly 1,000 kilometers with as many as 20 to 30 trains running between Toronto and Montreal per day. Right now, Via Rail runs just 8 trains per day. Last week, the federal transport minister said construction on the project should start in 2029. A major maritime lobster facility has gone up in flames. The Stonehaven Lobster Company's storage facility in New Brunswick burned to the ground yesterday afternoon. According to the local fire department, the building is a total loss and no people were inside at the time. At this point, there's been no word on what started the fire, but the fire marshal is investigating. The company has operated as a family-run business for 4 generations with buyers all over the world. New research out of British Columbia suggests there's a concerning link between teenage eating disorders and social media. Martin McMahon has more on the prevalence of these issues and how the holidays can make them worse.
We've all seen the videos on our social media feeds promising major weight loss through supplements, exercises, or diets, often over incredibly short timelines. But new research from Simon Fraser University highlights a link with eating disorders.
Almost 1 in 4 young people surveyed across the province of British Columbia had experienced signs of disordered eating. That is a very high proportion of young people. One of our other key findings was that the more social media young people consumed, the higher their risk of having signs of disordered eating.
Those who support those dealing with eating disorders have already been seeing the connection.
Social media by itself doesn't cause eating disorders, but it really intensifies any existing vulnerability that someone's experienced, especially for teens who are questioning their changing bodies, their identities, their sense of self.
The study found certain groups were at higher risk.
More than 40% of young people who were gender diverse or identified as sexual minorities experienced signs of disordered eating, compared to about 9% of boys who identified as straight.
The research is being shared during this Christmas and holiday season, when eating is often central, which can be a stressful time for those dealing with body image issues.
Try to stay away from any body-based comments. Even compliments can be triggering for someone. If you say, oh, wow, you look so good, you've lost weight, that for someone with an eating disorder can actually encourage them to lean into those behaviors.
As for potential solutions beyond individual families making decisions around device or app use, Samji says we should watch to see how Australia's social media ban for those under 16 plays out. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
The weather photo of the day is brought to you by Auburn Group's Magic of Lights, on now until January 4th. Thanks to our viewer Rita for sharing this great shot of ice packed along the shores of Lake Erie. We had a strong cold front that resulted in the rapid fall in temperatures throughout the day today. The winds have also strengthened in the wake of this cold front. Now we're in for a cold night with wind chill values near minus 15. Mainly cloudy skies this weekend with a chance for some flurries.
Russian President Vladimir Putin held his annual end-of-year news conference today, saying he wants to work with Europe.
Вы понимаете, я думаю, что и те кто говорит о войне с Россией.
During the highly choreographed event, Putin said Russian troops were advancing in Ukraine, voicing confidence he would achieve his goals if Ukraine does not agree to Russia's peace terms. Putin also warned the European Union against using seized Russian assets to fund Ukrainian defenses. Meanwhile, European leaders have agreed on a massive interest-free loan for Ukraine, supporting its military for the next 2 years.
Today, we approved a decision to provide
90 billion euros to Ukraine for the next 2 years.
If Europe had walked away today without an agreement, we would not only have failed Ukraine, we would have failed ourselves. This is a brutal war. It's a war on our own continent. A democratic nation is fighting for its survival, and the security architecture of Europe is at stake here.
Hungarian, Slovakian, and Czech leaders opposed the loan. However, a compromise was reached where those three countries would be protected from any financial fallout. There was no agreement, though, on using seized Russian assets to raise the funds. President Donald Trump says he won't rule out the possibility of war with Venezuela after labeling that country's leadership a terrorist regime. Trump made those comments in an interview with NBC News. Earlier this week, Trump ordered a blockade of sanctioned oil tankers leaving and arriving in Venezuela. American authorities had recently seized a tanker as well, part of a months-long buildup of military forces off the Venezuelan coast. U.S. officials have since reported 28 boat strikes on apparent drug smugglers, killing more than 100 people. TikTok has signed a deal to sell U.S. assets to a group of American investors. The deal would see Oracle, Silver Lake, and MGX form a new TikTok U.S. joint venture with ByteDance, the app's parent company. The deal is expected to close on January 22nd. It's also subject to protections on American data and national security. U.S. user data will be stored locally in a system run by Oracle. This all brings TikTok closer to securing a long-term future in the United States, where it has more than 170 million users. James Cameron's newest Avatar movie is expected to dominate the box office this weekend.
If there's something you can do, then you must do it.
According to a report from Variety, Avatar Fire and Ash is projected to bring in close to $100 million for its opening weekend. Besides Avatar, a film adaptation of the novel The Housemaid, starring Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried, is expected to bring in about $20 million.
I'm Sherry Flick, host of Weekend Spotlight. This Saturday, we have My Sister's Place joining us to talk about the phenomenal things they do for unhoused women in our community. It's a great story. Also, Mario Cercelli is going to tell us about the amazing fun things happening in Victoria Park for New Year's Eve. We'll also delve into the London music scene and a long list of events coming your way over the holidays. That and more this Saturday. Talk to you then.
Welcome back. A snowstorm on the prairies this week covered many roadways with ice, providing an opportunity for a particularly Canadian moment. This viewer-submitted video was taken near Belmont, Manitoba, which is about 200 kilometers west of Winnipeg. The recent freezing rain had turned the highway into a virtual skating rink. And finally tonight, a baby in Northern Ontario getting lots of online attention. She's become a viral sensation after joining her mom for a Christmas choir performance. With more, here's Madison Merrier.
Bernard Lafontaine posted a video for friends and family, and over 6 million views later, she's getting calls from around the world.
Sweden, Italy, there's liaisons from the USA that are working with People Magazine and USA Today. And Brazil has been really, really big because Senna is named after Ayrton Senna.
Little Senna appears to be singing along as the choir performs, and her mother is not surprised as music is a big part of her family's life.
Both my husband and I are very musically inclined, and so are her grandparents and her great-grandparents. So I think probably just from the womb, always hearing music and just being the happy baby that she is, I think music will run in her blood.
Lafontaine said she posted a video of the choir's performance as a preview to their big show.
We go to choir practice together, and she loves it. We bring her little play mat, and she'll just be babbling and cooing And yeah, she loves choir.
She only noticed Senna cooing after the song was finished, and when Lafontaine watched the video, she thought it was a great reflection of her happy baby.
The video that you're seeing is just literally how she is on a day-to-day basis. We're blessed with a very happy baby.
Lafontaine hopes the video brings people some Christmas cheer and inspires new parents to continue going out and doing the things they love.
I hope that this inspires also some parents that are on maternity leave or that are home with their child to just go out there and do things, and that the community does support bringing your child and not to be afraid and stay home.
Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.